Happy Tuesday and welcome to the Sabrena and Ben Real Estate Hour here on 1240 AM Hot News Talk Radio. Thank you for tuning in today. Last week, Ben, we ran out of time, and I know you were really wanting to talk about the VA loans.
Sorry.
And kind of what the pluses are in getting a VA loan. So I always start to show off today, and you talk about the VA loans, give us some good information, because I know there's a lot of people out there that may qualify and don't realize they qualify to get a VA loan.
Yeah, that's right. And the neat thing about a VA loan is that by talking about it, you can actually learn more about other products as well. I think the most distinguishing part about a VA loan, other than the fact that it's people of military folks that have served our country, is that there's no down payment on a VA loan. And folks sometimes think that if you don't make a down payment, that means you're going to get a higher interest rate. That's not the case with the VA loan. You're going to get the best rates out there, period, hands down, no question about it. So no down payment, obviously that helps a ton because borrowers can qualify for up to $417,000, the conforming loan limit here in Tennessee, and not have to put one penny down. That's exciting when you can get rates in the low threes, even twos right now. Another benefit of the VA loan is that there's no mortgage insurance. And this is where we start talking about other products. You know, on an FHA loan, folks hear about how easy it is to get an FHA loan. Well, there's a high mortgage insurance rate of 1.75 upfront on an FHA loan. Folks don't have to pay that out of their pocket, but they have to. But it is a real cost, and it is to protect the FHA integrity and to protect those loans. So, but the VA loan does not have that, and it has a very small upfront fee for those in the armed forces, as far as folks that are in the reserves and such like that. So you do qualify for a VA loan if you're in the reserves. So that's pretty exciting too. You know, on a conventional loan, you have to put 5%, 10% down in most cases. And the VA loan, not having that down payment, not having mortgage insurance, that is very exciting.
Yeah.
There's flexible credit guidelines on a VA loan. The flexibility can really boost the number of borrowers that can qualify for a home purchase. And, you know, think about it this way. When you're, most folks in the United States have had some type of bankruptcy. I think it's over 50% now. So on a VA loan, you have, if you've had a bankruptcy in over 12 months, you can still qualify for a VA loan. And that's pretty exciting as well. You know, the VA loan was, it's guaranteed by the VA, but it's still put out there by lenders. You know, we have to be a VA, we have to be VA qualified. And HomeRate Mortgage is VA qualified to provide not only the facts and figures on whether or not a VA loan might be right for you, but we also can show you the interest rates and the payment options and see what size home is going to fit your budget.
Now, Ben, what are the interest rates running right now? And I know there are certain loan limits when it comes to VA financing, so you may want to tell our listeners what those loan limits are. Okay.
Well, first of all, on interest rates, there's this word that's brand new in our lives called Brexit, right? Interest rates just took another tumble for the good, and rates are at historic lows. So they're dipping below those historic lows. The 10-year, obviously, you know, the stock market is significantly down right now, but that's the market, and that's the way it deals with things that we didn't expect, right? So we've got to take advantage of the market conditions, and interest rates right now on a VA loan are in the 2s on a 15-year.
Wow.
The APR is right around the 3 mark. On a 30-year, you can get your interest rate in the low 3s, 3.25. And the APR on that would be about 3.5. So what a great time. Isn't typical inflation about 3%? Mm-hmm. So basically you're having a home for free when you buy a home with a mortgage right now. It's definitely an exciting time. Now, on those conforming loan limits that you just asked about, the conforming loan limit in Hamilton County and the surrounding areas is 417. So you could buy a house for 450 and get conventional financing, maybe put 10% down, and then your loan balance would be 417 or 410, and you'd be fine. You could get a conventional loan. On a VA loan, since you don't have to put any money down, you could buy a $417,000 house, and the loan amount would be 417. So there's a limit there. Now, on a different product called FHA, and this is what I was telling you about, that obviously there's a lot of folks that want to know about other products. A VA loan is different from an FHA loan in that an FHA loan only goes up to $271,000. And that's important to know because we get borrowers that call us all the time that ask us for a $350,000 FHA loan. But it's just not possible. 271 is the max right now, but the rates are incredible on FHA. They're right there near the VA loan. So last thing on the VA loan that's pretty exciting, you can get all your closing costs paid by the seller. So if you're buying a home, you could literally get the concessions up to 4%, which is plenty on most loans. So that means you could literally come to the table and buy a house and not bring one single penny, which is very exciting. So, there's a lot of benefits of the VA loan. If you'd like to know more, you can give us a call at HomeRate Mortgage, 805-9100. That's 805-9100, 423 area code. We're standing by, ready to take your call. This is 1240 AM Hot News Talk Radio, and we've got you covered in Chattanooga. So the phone lines are going to be open today, 423-800-8949. And we couldn't be in business without you, the listener. So we want you to engage us back and give us a call and ask your question about homes, because that's what this show's all about. It's all about homes. And with me, we have Sabrena Smedley and Mark Smedley. And how are you doing today?
Doing great.
Awesome.
Doing great. Speaking of those loan limits, we have, they need to go check out our website, SabrenaRealty.com. We have a lot of great listings that fall right in these price limits that you were talking about on these loans. A lot of deals out there right now, and we're listing new homes every day, but I can tell you, Ben, they're not staying on the market long.
Right.
Things are moving. The average time on the market has gone from 4.5 months to 60 days. So that tells you how quickly properties are moving. As a matter of fact, our neighbor's house just went up for sale, and we saw a sale pending on it yesterday. I mean, it's like in less than a week. And that's what we're experiencing. For anyone putting their home on the market that has it ready to show, they have it priced right, and they are allowing it to be shown, they're getting their home under contract very quickly. So this is good news for sellers. Good news for buyers because the rates are phenomenally low. So it's a good time to buy and sell.
Well, like a few years ago, I would imagine that, what was the inventory like a few years ago? Was it taking 6 months to sell?
We had about 8 months reserved just sitting on the market, and it was like a 4.5 to 5 month average time on the market. That has gone down to where our inventory now is probably less than 3 months, and the average time on the market is 60 days.
That's exciting.
So it's unbelievable. But we have a very special guest with us today in the studios. We have Brian Brock. He is the Sales and Marketing Director of Holco Exteriors. And I know that Brian works very, very hard, and he is an expert in the home industry. I think at Holco, Holco used to be famous for windows, but I think they've opened the market up. They're doing a lot more than just replacing windows now. I think they're doing baths and sunrooms and you name it. But we'll let Brian tell us a little bit about that. And we're so glad to have you with us, Brian.
Well, thanks for having me.
I've heard a lot of good things about you from my husband, Mark, who used to work with you.
They're all lies, but that's fine. And for those of you watching the streaming on YouTube, sorry.
My apologies. Hey, Brian, why don't you use this one, Brian?
I didn't want to be seen.
Oh, no.
No, we want you to be seen. That's the whole point.
Go ahead.
Sorry. What I was going to say is, for those of you watching on YouTube, you wouldn't have to look at me. I have a face for radio, but we just changed that, so now you got to look at me. So I appreciate you guys having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here. So I guess I'll start and give the listeners a little history of Holco.
Yeah.
Would that be a good place
How
to
to get
start?
started? You bet.
Yeah. So Holco, the company, was founded in 1977 in Appleton, Tennessee, by Bill Hollander, and he started off selling these cast iron wood burning stoves called Buck stoves.
I remember the Buck stove.
Yes, and sold them for many years. And back in the 70s, when there was an energy crisis, that was a great alternative way to heat your home. And so Bill started the company selling these Buck stoves, built up a pretty large distributorship, and simply put, needed something to do in the summertime.
Yeah.
And so that evolved into making a vinyl storm window, which back in the 80s, storm windows were just a great way to shore up the energy efficiency of your home. But then that actually migrated into making a vinyl replacement window. And Holco manufactured vinyl replacement windows for about 20 years out in Appleton, Tennessee.
Yeah. You know, something to comment on. Back when Bill Hollander was getting started with the storm windows, he went the vinyl route. And everybody else in the industry, and even for decades after, stayed with aluminum. But he knew where the technology, where the energy efficiency was, and that's why he was the sole one for a long time doing vinyl. So he's kind of always been on the cutting edge of the latest technology and the latest products.
Absolutely. And, you know, vinyl is really a great product, and vinyl has come a long way just in recent years. You know, the beauty of it is you can weld it together. So the frames of the windows can be fully welded. What that's going to do is stop any kind of air infiltration or draft coming through the window, whereas aluminum products have to be mechanically fastened. And so, yeah, Bill was ahead of his time back in the 80s going with the vinyl windows. And, you know, I think Holco was responsible for bringing vinyl windows to Chattanooga.
Oh, I would think so.
And so, you know, and this dates back several years ago. And so founded in 1977, we're actually celebrating a 40th anniversary next year.
Good night.
So, you know, we're second generation, family owned and operated. You know, moved out to East Brainerd in 1997, and then 10 years after that, Matt actually purchased the company from his father.
Right.
So now Matt and Jenny Hollander own and run the business, and so second generation, family owned and operated. And I think that's really important because, you know, your home is your single largest investment. I think the real estate folks in the room would agree with that.
No doubt about it.
And, you know, you can't just trust anyone. And we all know stories of shoddy contractors.
Too many stories.
Yes. And so Holco takes it as a huge responsibility to do a good job. And, you know, we have local ties to the community. You know, we all have, there's people, there's 30 employees at Holco. There's 10 crews that work for us on a regular basis. So, you know, there's 100 people that are part of Holco that shop at the grocery stores, send their kids to school, and are involved in the community. So we take it very seriously, you know, to offer good service.
Well, what are some of the different products that you guys offer now? Because again, starting with butt stoves, then the storm windows, then replacement windows, you guys have grown to still focused on the home and improving the home and the experience for the homeowners. But what are all the different products that you have now?
Well, that's a good question, and it really speaks to the evolution of the Holco brand, as I'll put it. And, you know, some people have commented. In fact, I got a comment a few minutes ago about our new logo that's on my shirt.
Right.
The new sign that we have out at our office on East Brainerd Road, to where we're just Holco. So we started out as Holco Incorporated years ago when Bill was distributing buck stoves and making the vinyl storm windows. Then it became Holco Window and Door for many, many, many years, and that revolved around selling windows and doors. Well, then in the early 2000s, we became Holco Exteriors, because the product offering expanded from windows and doors to siding, then eventually sunrooms, then eventually decking and roofing. And so we did everything to do with the exterior of the home. Well, a couple years ago, we added a bath solutions product, which I'll tell you about.
Right.
So now we do tub to shower conversions and walk-in tubs and tub and shower replacement. And so in keeping with that theme and still maintaining our roots, we just went back to being Holco. And so we do mostly exterior work, but we do offer the bath solutions products, which are now an interior project. And so, you know, Holco is how we're referred to, and you know, we're here to do you know, certain specialty remodeling projects for your home.
Right.
Hey, Brian, I'm curious because I've always thought of Holco and kind of thought of windows. So you guys are not really doing windows as much, if I'm hearing you correctly, or is that really still your specialty?
It is. Windows is actually our specialty, and we're actually doing more windows than we ever have. But what's happened at the same time is the demand for the other products we offer
Right.
has grown around it. So where windows may used to have been 60 to 75% of our overall business, now it's about 50% of our business.
Right.
But we're still doing as many as we always have, but our business has happened to grow because of the other product offerings. And so now somebody may call us out, for an estimate on windows. So when we get to the home, we may find that they, want to look at siding, or maybe their bathroom does need attention, or maybe they want to put a new deck on the back of the house. And so now we're able to serve that one homeowner, and we're able to write one contract, one project, and take care of it all at once.
So you're able to build a relationship.
Absolutely. And, 60% of our business comes from a couple things. One is repeat customers, people
Right.
we've done a project for that
Yeah.
come back and do a subsequent project, but then also referrals and people who refer their neighbor to us. So we value the opportunity to, either revisit an existing customer or to, go see their friends and neighbors.
Those referrals are very important. We count on those as well. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of our business
It
comes
is.
from as well. Well, for someone that doesn't know that much, I by no means am a window expert. What is the best type of window to buy, and what's the average cost for someone who doesn't have any idea of what replacing a window would cost? I'm kind of curious what you would recommend, what the cost would be, and what is the average lifespan of a window? I mean, how long are windows supposed to last?
Well, that's a great question, and I can answer it a few ways. In terms of cost, it's really based on the size of the window and the application. In other words, are we tearing out an aluminum window? Are we tearing out a wood window? Are we replacing the entire frame? Or are we doing what we call a slip-in window, which means the existing wood frame of a wood window stays intact and we just put our window there in its place? So the cost is something that would be tough to answer here on the spot. But I can tell you that you will see advertisements of windows, and $189. You see that in your local newspaper.
Yeah.
But what happens is once a company advertising at that low price, what they do is they come to the house and then they start tacking things on, maybe for the screen, maybe for the trim that goes around the exterior of the window, maybe for the caulking around the interior. So what happens is things get added to that price that actually inflated a little bit. But there is a publication called Cost versus Value that Remodeling Magazine puts it out. As a real estate agent, you may be familiar with it. And what it does is it analyzes project prices. And in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, it estimates that a full window replacement project of all the windows in a home is under $10,000.
Okay.
So, it's going to be more expensive per window than the $189 you see advertised. But, Holco's prices, because we've been around for so long and have great buying power and actually have stake in the factory that we work with now where we get our windows, we're able to actually be less costly than what Cost versus Value says that window replacement in Chattanooga is worth. So we aim to provide a good value. So I guess that's my answer on the cost. On the longevity of the windows, that can range. We made windows years and years ago, and the technology for insulating glass, the technology for welding the window, all of those things has greatly improved over the past 20 years. And so now we offer a product that is a lifetime guarantee.
Wow.
That's labor, material, the glass, the parts, everything. So if something fails, you make a call, we come out and fix it. And that's because the technology has gotten so well that where it used to be 2 out of every 100 windows, actually, let me take it back, 2 out of every 10 windows would fail. Meaning you'd see that milky, foggy stuff in between. It was about 20%. Well, in the last 20 years, they got that down to about 11%, to where now about 1 out of every 10 windows will fail. Well, I did a case study with the windows we offer that use an insulated glass provided by Cardinal Building Products, which is the largest glass manufacturer in the country. Well, they fail at a rate of 0.3%.
So almost never.
Almost never. We did a case study of 25,000 window purchases we made over a period of years.
Right.
We had 84 warranty claims against 25,000 windows.
That's unbelievable.
So you do the math on it, it's like 1/3%. And, that speaks to the technology and the improvement in materials and processes. to make those windows a lot better. And so that's what we offer. We want to offer something of value to where, you know, you pay a little more on the front end, but you get a good value because the likelihood of failure is a lot less over time. And if there is a failure, we fix it.
Is it safe to say that you guys are now replacing your competitors' inferior replacement windows?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We do it probably once a week. We do that type of project. Yeah.
Well, you got to thank them for the business now.
Absolutely.
Hey, Brian, you brought up a good point. One of the things that I've noticed is, you know, one of the values of Holco is when you can get your repeat business on 60% of your clients.
Absolutely.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
And that says a lot. And I think what folks do need to know out there is when you get an estimate from different contractors out there, that's exactly what it is, an estimate. But what I found with Holco, and the reason you get so many repeats is for example, that warranty, that word, where other contractors are going to just go on and never come back, never help out. You guys actually stand by for a long time.
That's true. We call our competitors' warranty the tail light warranty. When the tail lights are gone, the warranty's gone. And, you know, in our case, you know, we have people that call us from, you know, purchases made 20 years ago that, you know, they may have a glass failure or something, and we honor the warranty. And I'll tell you, you know, on jobs we did years and years and years ago, they had a limited lifetime warranty. And the warranty's prorated because that's what we offered at the time, you know, 20-something years ago. Well, now that, again, products and technology have improved for the past, say, 8 to 10 years, we offer that full lifetime guarantee where there's no proration in the warranty whatsoever.
I'm curious, Brian, what is the typical turnaround time? Let's say that I have one of your sales people come out to my home and look at my windows and stuff. From the time they come out and I make a selection, what kind of turnaround time am I looking at as a consumer?
That varies based on the time of year. So like right now, we're pretty busy from the spring. So right now, I would say it's in the 6 to 8 week range to get new replacement windows.
Okay.
It takes us a few weeks to get our hands on the windows, and then we have a backlog. And the analogy I use is like a good restaurant. You go somewhere good to eat, you got to wait for a table sometimes. Well, the reality is we're so picky about who we have do the installation work and who we send to the home that we don't just hire temporary help or day labor to help fill that backlog. So when it gets busier, customers have to wait a little bit longer, but what we can assure you of is that the quality never gets compromised. And so the same crews that do work for us day in and day out is the same crew that's going to come to your house.
It's worth the wait.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to have you back after the break because we just touched the surface. I want to talk about some of your other products and what financing you may have available for consumers, because some of this stuff I know can be pretty pricey. But for anyone thinking about doing some exterior work or replacing their windows, how do they get in touch with Holco?
They can visit our website, call holco.com, or just give us a call. A live person answers the phone every day, 423-899-2400.
And of course, to call Sabrena Realty, we can be reached at 423-499-7780, or for HomeRate Mortgage, 423-805-9100. We'll be back here in just a few minutes after the break.
And we're back. I'm Ben Phillips with the Sabrena and Ben Real Estate Hour, and we are excited to have Brian Brock here from Holco. And Brian, we've learned a lot about windows and doors and bathrooms, and we want to know a little bit more.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, just come on up to the mic. I would like to know a little bit more about, let's say I'm a typical customer out there and I have this dream about getting new doors, and I just want the house to look a little better, get the bathroom remodeled, maybe even look at the windows. I think that what goes through my mind as a prospect client is I'm scared to make that call. I'm scared to make that call. Maybe it's my budget. My wife and I, we're talking it over. We know we need it. Our electric bill's a little higher, but we're just nervous about whether or not we can afford it. Okay. I know Holco has a tradition of clients being able to count on them to ensure that what they got was awesome and it's going to be there for a long time and it's going to do what they intended to do. And that's really why folks do call y'all every day. But what if I'm that client on the edge and I'm just not exactly sure if that's affordability? Just nervous about spending 10 grand on windows and doors.
I got you.
What would you say to that?
You know what? That is that's a common question we get. And I'm happy to answer that. There's a couple things I'll say about that. One is that any home improvement project you do is going to be expensive. You're going to be out some money.
Right.
So it's one of those things that the incremental cost of getting something of better quality is really may not be as much as you think. So that's one thing to consider. But I think more importantly is the fact that we can utilize the power of financing to offer some budget-friendly options. So, your scenario, you and the wife are talking it over, your energy bills are a little high. You want the house to look a little better, but it's probably going to be about 10 grand and you're just not sure about that. Well, you may have the 10 grand to spend. You may not want to let go of it. And so what we can offer is we have some unsecured financing options through Green Sky. They're our financing partner. And so basically a one-page credit app, a call-in from one of our sales consultants in the home to Green Sky, we're able to get an approval of up to $50,000, depending on your credit. And so then once we get the approval, we have different options that we can offer. We have low interest options that start at 2.99%.
Oh my goodness.
Unsecured, or we have some no interest options. And then we have some no interest, no payments. So, from time to time, we'll run a promotion to where we may say, Matt Hollander on our commercials will say, don't pay a dime until 2017. Well, what that means is we'll have a 1 year, no payment, no interest option to where basically you can sit on your 10 grand for a year and then you can make, you can pay that off in a year's time.
Awesome. So
whether you're waiting on income tax, next year, this time of year or whatever, it gives you a chance to sit on your money and pay for it later.
And as far as the electric bills and stuff, I've heard that windows and doors can really decrease the electric bill at your home. And in a sense, if you do you guys have an analysis on that, on how that could impact it, or is it just minimal? And at the end of the day, it just assists with the overall, the finality of why you should do an upgrade to your home.
I've seen both.
It can be significant.
Absolutely. I have heard reports of as much as 45% savings on an energy bill. And that's come from our customers. We've actually had customers send us letters with copies of power bills saying, hey, look, you've saved me half.
That could almost make the payment for the windows.
Absolutely. In most cases, it's not going to be, it's like those commercials you see on TV where like people lose weight and they go, results not typical. Well, the 50% savings is probably the results not typical version of that.
Right.
But most homeowners are going to save some portion of their energy bill. And here in the metro area, if you use EPB, if EPB is your power provider, there's a program that TVA has called the eScore.
Okay.
And eScore is a program where you can go online and set up an energy audit at your home. And what they will do is they'll look at windows and doors, but they'll also look at other areas like insulation in your attic or your HVAC system, and they can recommend specific upgrades. And then once you do those upgrades, there are actually rebates available to you from TVA through your local power provider. So that is a program that's available to you that not only do you save the money on the month in and month out bill, but there's the opportunity for a one-time rebate for these upgrades.
What does that cost?
It is free.
Free.
Yes.
Sounds like a good cost.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very good.
I have a question. Let's say, because in our industry, we all the time we're being called out to look at homes and advise our sellers. And let's say, in many instances, their kitchen may be outdated or their bathroom may be outdated. And I always use a very conservative approach as to how I'm going to make recommendations, because it's going to be hard for me to tell this seller, hey, put $40,000 into your kitchen when we're going to sell the home and we're not going to get all that money back dollar for dollar. So for someone thinking about selling their home, but they know that their bathrooms are outdated, because I know you all specialize in baths now, but they really feel that they're so outdated that it's going to have a negative impact on the sale of their home. What are you guys recommending that those sellers do, and what type of cost-effective approaches do you have?
Well, I think the average bathroom remodel, if I'm not mistaken, but according to cost versus value, it's somewhere between $15,000 and $16,000 in the Chattanooga market. And that's for a full bathroom model, floor, vanity, tub and shower, everything. We don't do the complete bath remodel, but what we do offer is a way to address the wet area, which is the biggest cause of concern. You know, if you take a small bathroom, the largest area in it is going to be the tub shower area.
Right.
And what we have found is a lot of folks, you know, if you think about your options, you can retile it. But if you retile it, what happens is you've got to take everything out, and you're probably going to be without a bathroom for a week to 10 days because of the tile, the grout curing, everything that goes with that. And then once you have it installed, you know, then you've got to keep it clean because grout's porous, tile's porous, and it's a pain to clean.
Yeah.
Well, you can't put a new fiberglass unit in because most of those go in when the house is built, and unless you took out a wall or cut a whole window out or something, you can't just take one of these fiberglass inserts and set it in the bathroom. So what are you to do? You just retile it? Do you get marble? You know, what are my options? Well, the most cost-effective option we've seen is an acrylic system. And so what we do at Holco is we will go in and take out the existing tub. We'll take the tile or fiberglass surround or whatever's on the walls. That way we can do a new drain tie-in. We can address the plumbing in the wall, so we make sure we put a new valve in and tie in the hot and cold and everything. And then what we do is put in an acrylic shower pan. And that acrylic shower pan has a foam feel in it. Have you ever stepped in a fiberglass shower and felt it kind of creak under your feet?
That's right.
Well, these won't do that because they're filled with a high-density foam. So you've got a solid shower base or a tub base, whichever one you prefer, and then we can go up the walls with an acrylic material.
That matches.
Yeah, absolutely, or a nice contrast. And what the acrylic does is the acrylic is treated at the factory level with a product called Silver Shield. And what they do is they marry silver ions to the acrylic. And it's the same material that's used in Cure Band-Aids. And what it does is it makes the panels antimicrobial, so that stops the growth of mold and mildew. So now what you have is you have a product that can be installed in a day or day and a half, and it's antimicrobial, so it's easy to clean. And so that's a great alternative to being out of your bathroom for a week and doing the tile. And you can do one of these tub to shower conversions. You know, I've seen every one of them we've done as far as the cost of the job since we've started doing them. And, you know, on the low end, they can be at the $4,000 mark, maybe a little less for labor, material, everything. And the most expensive one I've seen are maybe $7,000 or $8,000, and that is with you know, Kohler plumbing fixtures, grab bars, shelves in the shower, and a really cool random stone pattern in the works. So, you know, you can spend less or maybe a tad more than tile, but it's done in a whole lot less time, and it's a much easier to clean product.
Now, did I hear you correctly say that the turnaround time is just a couple of days for that? Because that means a lot to me, because to be down one bathroom for, like you said, 2 weeks possibly.
Yes.
That's a big inconvenience.
Yeah, most of them get done in a day to a day and a half. There are some that can be done in 1 day depending on the tear out application. There are some that may bleed into a full second day. It just really depends on what's there. But for the most part, within 2 days, we can have your old one removed and your new one put in. And, you know, right now we're about 4 weeks out on those. So if we come give you a proposal today for a Bath Solutions product, within the month, we're out there, and in 2 days we're finished.
Right.
All
Well,
right.
let me ask you about sunrooms. Now, how popular are sunrooms right now?
You know, they kind of ebb and flow. You know, sometimes it seems like they're really hot, and we've got a whole bunch of them being built at once, and then sometimes they slow down a little bit. I don't know if that's HGTV driven or, you know, outdoor space driven or what the magic sauce for that is. But, you know, sunrooms are a great way to add square footage to your home. And one of the things that's pretty popular to do is what we call an under existing or an enclosure, where you have an existing screen porch, you have a roof overhead, you've got a small deck or landing outside, but that space just isn't usable in August. And it just isn't usable in December. But you have family gatherings and you want to be able to use that space. Well, what we can easily do is we can enclose that area with windows, and we can put in large windows that open up to where you can let the breeze in. So the fall months and the spring months, when you want to be outside and have the airflow and the natural environment, you can have it. But then when it's really cold or really hot outside, you can close it off and have, we can even put in a mini split air conditioning unit for the really hot months. So that's something that's been really popular to do, is to take that screened in area and enclose it to a usable year-round space.
You know, a lot of people say that the room they use the most is the sunroom, once they get one.
Absolutely.
It is at my house.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, Brian, you have the products. You guys have been doing it for 40 years. And over 40 years, you still have an incredible reputation. I think the financing options is a huge plus for all those folks that are, just not sure whether or not they want to take that plunge. So they've got sort of a backstop there. You said earlier that you guys are involved in the community. And, that's important. When I'm doing business with somebody, it shows that they're a reputable company if they're involved in the community. And Sabrena and I are both involved in the community in several different organizations. What organizations does Holco tie into and do it?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually have our own foundation called the Holco Heritage Foundation. And this year will be the 5th year that we have hosted a dinner, silent auction, and golf tournament to raise money for local charities. And there are 2 charities we have supported for the entirety of the 5 years are the Hunter Worley Foundation and First Tee of Chattanooga. The Hunter Worley Foundation helps families who have lost a child. So by either providing counseling or providing, funeral expenses, providing money for funeral expenses for that unexpected loss of a child. That's what Hunter Worley Foundation does here locally. So we support them. The other one is the First Tee of Chattanooga, and they take kids and teach them life lessons through the game of golf. And then last year we added the Chattanooga Heroes Fund because of the shootings that happened in mid-July last year, and the servicemen, Peyton Manning and Bob Corker, had started this foundation, the Chattanooga Heroes Fund. And so Holco Heritage was proud to be part of that and make donations to that cause. And then this year we added the Pat Summitt Foundation. And who would have expected that incredible lady would have lost her life today? But, she's been battling, Alzheimer's. And so there's been a foundation set up in her honor to fight Alzheimer's disease. Yeah. And so Holco Heritage is proud to be a part of that this year. And so our proceeds from the 2016 Holco Heritage events will continue to support Hunter Worley Foundation, First Tee of Chattanooga, but we also have the Pat Summitt Foundation as well. And then we're also forming a partnership with the Believe campaign with Children's Hospital to build a new hospital for our community for the children. So, we really feel like it's important to give back. And rather than, trying to draw your line in the sand and who do I support and who do I not, as business owners, that struggle. Yes. Matt and Jenny Hollander decided, hey, we're going to just start our own foundation, and we're going to pick a handful of charities, and we're going to help those charities through the event we put on. So that's what we've done for the community, is the Holco Heritage Foundation.
Well, there's a lot of needs out there, and like you said, there's a lot of good charitable organizations that you can be a part of, and it's hard to choose sometimes.
It is, absolutely.
But I think the most critical point is that you made, and that's important for all of us, is that we do give back, because you can't outgive, because it does come back to you in a big way. I know just now, serving on the county commission, I have been exposed to a number of charitable organizations I didn't even know existed. And it's amazing how many needs, and I mean true needs, that there are out there. So I think it's very important as community leaders and business owners that we do get involved. Brian, is there anything we didn't discuss today that you want to talk about? Because I know there's so many products. There's so many products that Holco is selling now, and I'm just impressed to hear how the company's evolving. and how you're doing more. And this is good information for me to take back to my clients. So I'm very glad we had you on today. But I know that there's a lot of products. There may be some information or something you want to say and we didn't ask you about it. So I want you to give you a few minutes to talk about anything that maybe we haven't touched on.
Well, I think, I could probably dive into another product or two, but I think the ultimate thing that's important is just to remember that, our company is made up of people, and most importantly, people that care.
Right.
And, when you're inviting somebody to do work on your home, I think the most important decision you make is who you let do the work. The products are very important from longevity, warranty, all of that, but we have an extremely capable group of folks that really care about what they do, installers that have been with us for years and years and years. And, the saying goes, the proof's in the pudding. And if you go to callholco.com and click on reviews, it'll take you to a page that shows just a ton of reviews from people we've done work for. And,
real people in the local area.
Absolutely. And if you've seen our commercials and seen people talking about Holco, they're not paid actors. They're customers that have said, we'll do a testimonial for you. And you know what? We don't compensate them. They do it out of the kindness of their heart and because of merited good work. And, I'll end with this. We did an exercise a couple years ago to try and expose our core values.
Right.
And rather than Matt and Jenny coming to us as a company and saying, hey, look, these are our core values and this is what we stand for, we actually, during employee review, sat down with everybody in the company and gathered their 5 core values that meant the most to them. I took all those core values, we dumped them in a spreadsheet, came out with what the 5 most popular were.
Right.
So the 5 core values I'm going to tell you that represent Holco are representative of every employee in the company, from the delivery guy to Matt and Jenny who own the company. And those core values are faith, family, honesty and integrity, loyalty, and responsibility.
Yeah,
and as you think about that list, people with that mindset are who you'd be inviting to work on your home.
I think it's important you've identified that, because that's the kind of culture you're going to cultivate with your employees, and that's very important. You made a very good point, and it just reminded me. I went to a neighborhood watch recently with a neighborhood, and you made a point about it's so important about who you let come in your home. So I take it that Holco is really checking out their installers, the background, making sure these are reputable people they can trust. Because I was at a neighborhood watch, and one of the neighbors shared a story, an experience they had very recently, in which they hired a company. I won't name the company, but they hired them to come and install, and let's just say windows. And the installer came out, seemed like a nice guy. These people left their home and trusted him, and while they were gone, he took their TV and several other personal belongings. So I hate to bring that up, but I mean, it's a reality of the world we're living in and things we're dealing with. So it's very important that you can trust the person that you're letting come in your home. So I hear these stories all the time. So I think it's great that Holco is checking out the individuals before they hire them, and it's someone you can trust.
Absolutely.
Well, if you think about it, when a homeowner calls a company to come out and give them a price on some work that they're wanting done, they may spend a couple of hours with the salesperson, but the installers may be there a couple of days, or for some projects, a sunroom, a room addition, a couple of weeks or more. So it is very important who's doing the work. Are they qualified? Are they skilled? Everybody's got a truck and a ladder and a hammer. Doesn't need to be tearing out windows or, installing a front door.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% true. And, like when you were asking how far out we were, and I said it's several weeks before we can get to jobs, it's because we vet people so seriously when they come to us wanting a job. The quality is one thing, but then the attitude and the personal, the way someone presents themselves, and then their background and all of that is just super, super important, because, folks trust us with their home, and we take that very seriously. And you know what? Everybody that works for Holco, I would let work on my home or my parents' home. And like, my mom has had everything we do done at her house, and our installers went and done it. And that's just super important.
Well, they have to be a fit with your culture. And what you were trying to do there at Holco. You know, at our office, we're a small office. And I tell people, you know, we're going to treat all of our clients like their family. I'm going to sit you down, give you the same advice I give my mother, my brother. I'm going to treat you like family. And we start every sales meeting with prayer and devotion. So I tell new agents when they come and interview, this is how we do. We start every sales meeting with prayer and with devotion. So if that's going to offend you, we're probably not the company for you.
Right.
And as you know, not everyone is the perfect fit. And it's very important that we have those standards, because it's the only way as a company that we can move in the direction that we need to move into. And I just appreciate you for being here today, Brian. And this has been very informative. I've learned a lot today. Yeah. And I actually want you to leave some business cards, because if I'm out looking at that house and they need to replace their windows or something like that, I want to be sure to send them over to Holco. And I just appreciate the time you spent with us today. And speaking of, for anyone that's thinking about buying a home or selling a home, we would love the opportunity to sit down and talk to you. As Sabrena Realty will be willing to come out and do a free market analysis, just sit and talk to you about maybe things you need to do to get your home prepared to be on the market, talk about price. Does it cost you a dime? Why not call us? And of course, we're going to refer you to Ben. If you're looking to buy a home and you need to be pre-qualified, it's very important that you do that step first, that you get in with a good lender that's going to talk to you about all the different loan options. Make sure that you're going to get in with a lender that's going to give you the best advice, look out for you, and not try to get you to buy some home that you can't really afford, like $300,000, when you should be spending $200,000, right, Ben?
That's right.
So for anyone thinking about buying or selling a home, please call Sabrena Realty. We can be reached at 423-499-7780. That's 499-7780. Or visit our website at SabrenaRealty.com. And Ben, I'll let you close us out today.
Yeah, I really enjoyed having Brian Brock here from Holco, because there's no doubt that I fall right in line to that mantra that you a lot of prospect clients put a lot of faith into that bottom line price at the beginning, and but the true cost of anything that you do in life is the long-term effect of it, and that's what makes Holco a special place. When it comes to getting it done today right, and then letting the warranties and coming back through for any issues, that stands to the test of time. HomeRate Mortgage is a mortgage company that wants to earn your business. Just like everybody else, we go off reviews. So check us out online, HomeRateMortgage.com. See you next week.